Hey guys, hi. It is probably 7, 8 o'clock. It's great when you're not looking at the clock. But I tell you what, I was out today, spending a little time out in my backyard and just kind of walking through the woods, and when we're getting some things here. And I was out loading up our furnace outside. We have one of those wood burners, and I couldn't get the fire going. It would burn and burn and burn. It would burn really good. When I would close the lid, the fire would go out. And I just couldn't see what in the heck was going on. And I kept looking and looking, and finally, as I opened up the lid again and watched the fire really excel, oxygen had hit it, it was getting fed, it had everything it needed to grow, to be successful. That fire was finally feeding on oxygen and the things it needed. I realized as I looked down and I seen a vent hole that was closed. I took the cap off, pushed the vent in, and man, that fire just took off. I shut the lid, and an hour later, we had a warm house. That fire kept going. And I got to thinking, as we're looking around, how many people have lost that fire in their life? How many people have lost the edge? And I really started to think, how many people have closed their vents? How many people don't realize that they were successful for a while along the way, and they knew what they were doing, but somehow their vents just closed? And they're trying to strum along, they're trying to be successful, they're working hard, they're working smart, but that fire just wouldn't light. No matter what they did, they couldn't keep that fire burning. And guys, I got to tell you what, when I watched that vent open up, that fire became successful, and it had everything it needed. But you know what? The fire in and of itself could not succeed by itself. It needed wood. It needed fuel. It needed a match. It needed oxygen to be able to succeed. So even that fire by itself couldn't succeed. And as wonderful as that is, and as God has created such a wonderful thing as fire for us to use in many different ways, as entrepreneurs and people in our life, we can't succeed by ourselves. It doesn't work. And as I started looking at balance in our life, and in our marriages, and in our families, and in our ministries, how many of us have closed the vents in our life to where we somehow seem to think that we can be successful all by ourselves? That we don't need any outside sources to help us. And that fire needed an outside source. When that lid was closed and it was trying to be a fire all by itself, it needed an outside source of oxygen to feed into that, to feed that fire, to bring that heat back. That heat that you've lost in your life, in your career, in your ministry, in your marriage, in your family. So as Jenny and I have been putting this ministry together, and I've been doing this for a long time. As I look back since the mid-90s, this ministry in my life, and many people have come to us and we've talked to them, and I've been working with a lot of people. The biggest thing that I see as I sit down with people is entrepreneurs, families, husbands, wives, people in their personal ministry. They have closed the vents in their life. So how many vents in your life are closed? How many don't you know that are closed? Maybe you're going to need somebody from the outside to say, listen, hey, this isn't working because that vent's closed. It's okay to say, you know what, man, I've been trucking along, I've been working hard, and I just lost the fire. I don't know why. I forgot why I started doing this. I forgot why I originally put my efforts into this, why I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And along the way, when those vents were open and we were running hard, and you were running hard doing some things with your marriage, with your family, and your personal ministry, the ministry could be your job, your career, whatever that is, you closed those vents along the way. You had help getting started, and you need help continuing. We all do. Even my wife and I have coaches and mentors that we talk to, that as we keep moving our own personal ministry forward, that we can be able to go to them and go, gosh, where is this vent closed? I can't see it. And somebody can go, well, hey guys, it's right there. We know where it's at. There's your vent. Now it's closed. Now we're going to open that closed vent. And boom, they open it right up. But even then, I had to look down. I went Man, I opened that vent all the way. We're going to get the fire going. We're going to get it strong. But then as I learned more, that vent had to be controlled. I can close that vent halfway or a third of the way or however I want to the oxygen feed that I want to control the flame. Because you can burn really strong and really hot, but that fire can burn out because it's quicker. But if you can learn to control the vents in your life, not just to open them, but to control the amount of oxygen coming in, the amount of excitement, the amount of passion, the amount of adversities, the amount of everything coming into that fire, feeding it. If you can control it, it'll burn much longer. And you can just keep that fire burning forever. You just keep feeding it. You control the vent. You open the vent. You pull it back. And you just make sure that there's somebody in your life as a coach and a mentor that you can go to and say, listen, let's sit down at our table. Let's have coffee. Let's have a soda. Let's have a glass of water. Let's sit down and have a piece of pie together, and we can sit and talk and show you how those vents work. And we can look at you and go, you know what, after talking with you and you identifying what your reason why is and where your problems are, we see where your vents are and where they're closed. So guys, I know you know as I look at this, the thing is I want you to think about is, are your vents closed in your life? And are there challenges in your life that are being prevented because you've got closed vents? So I leave you with this. Success is in the palm of your hand. But do you know where your vents are anymore? And if you do, are your vents closed? Guys, it's always great talking to you. This was something that just was on my heart when I was outside tonight. And you know what? As we put our strategies together more and more, they're solid. Our podcast coming together with understanding God, money, and intimacy within marriage. You know, I think tomorrow I'm going to be putting another one up, and I'll have my wife pipe in on just a couple thoughts, that we can share maybe to everybody as we're coming into Friday and going into the weekend. I just want you to understand that achieving your goals at breakneck speed is something that has been in my life for a long time. But read the title, Achieving Your Goals at Breakneck Speed. Always remember, if I can, you can. Hey, have a great evening, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.